morning everybody, Morissa here. So today's class is about forward bends. Now, forward bends are often seen as a passive motion because we often use the aid of gravity to help stretch the muscles that we want to use, and because of that they are seen as a way of releasing tension. They can relieve pain and they can help to give us a much needed rest. Now the muscles, two of the major muscles we use in forward bends are the psoas muscles, and you have one on either side of your body. Quite simply, they're the only thing that links the upper and lower skeletons. They originate in the bottom vertebrae of the upper spine, T12, and they go attached to every one of the lumbar vertebrae, and they go through the hip joint and attach that little nodule at the top of the femur, and they're like a little hammock. They're often referred to as the seat of the soul, and so you can imagine if we manage to release this and relax it and stretch it, keep it supple, we might find we can release some of those negative emotions as well. And it's like a little hammock there, so it's just as important to rest it as it is to work it, because even when it is at rest, it retains a certain tension. So we're going to start today's class just lying down on our spines. So I want you to take a nice comfortable lay down on your mats and hug your knees into your chest, right hand to right knee, left hand to left knee, and you're just going to make individual circles, pulling the knees into your chest and then pushing them away. Now if you want to make the circles bigger, you can take the feet apart and work deeper, or you can keep the toes together. I want you to close your eyes while you're doing this. And now take the legs back the other way. So start with the toes together and just take the legs back the other way. Brilliant. So keep the eyes closed as much as you can. We're trying to keep the focus inwards today, really working on any muscle tension, any negative emotions. Just trying to keep very mindful, relaxing practice. So we're going to now drop both feet to the mat, and we're going to take a breath in and extend the right leg all the way up to the sky, and you're just going to point and flex through the foot. Where possible, keep the eyes closed. So just pushing the toes away, then the heel, and then rotate that ankle in one direction and back the other way for me. Taking hold behind the thigh, you're just going to, as you exhale, pull that leg gently in towards the chest. Now you can slide your hands further up to the calf, but keep the shoulders down and keep the back of the neck nice and long. Breathing into your stretch. So as you inhale, feel that leg lengthen, and as you exhale, feel that push-pull, pulling the calf or the thigh with the intertwined fingers. And then take one more breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to cross that right ankle over the left knee. You're going to gently ease that right thigh out by placing the right hand on the thigh. And you're just giving it a little opening in the hips. Now I want you to push that right heel away so the ankle is at right angles, and scoop your hands between your legs and on the outer side of that left leg as you draw the thigh into your chest, working deeper into that right hip and down the back of the hamstring there at the top where it joins. So you want to work your right elbow into your right hip. Sorry, your right thigh. If you can keep your eyes closed, just keep the focus inwards. Nice, natural, easy breath. As we breathe in again, we're going to uncross those legs and extend the left leg up to the ceiling, breathing out to drop the right foot to the floor. Just point and flex through that left foot, heel, toe, heel, toe. Then we're going to rotate that ankle in circles one way and then back the other way. Keeping the back of the neck long, keeping the shoulders on the floor, clasp the hands behind the thigh as you inhale, and as you exhale, start to draw that left leg into the chest. Once again, you can work the hands further up the leg to the calf, taking the elbows wide, but keep the shoulders on the floor. And just nice, gentle, easy breaths. Now I'm going to take that left ankle, cross it over the right knee, take the left hand to the left thigh and ease that thigh out, open. Inhale, scoop the hands around that right thigh now and draw it into your chest, at the same time using your left forearm to push out your left thigh. Remembering to keep the back of the neck long and that left foot at a 90-degree angle. Brilliant. Okay, we're going to gently uncross the legs as we inhale, rock up to a seated position. We're just going to come into easy pose, so not quite legs crossed, just have the legs flat in front of us. And as we breathe in, I want you to imagine lifting your chest. Come onto your fingertips, and as you breathe out, I want you to walk your hands forward. Now, some of you might not go very far. It's still a forward bend. What we're trying to do is keep the spine long. So you don't want your hips to come off the floor at the back. You want to keep both sit bones down. And you want to keep your spine long. So imagine gluing your bottom down, but pulling your core in, pulling your tummy in. And maybe as you exhale again, you can get a little bit longer with the body. The minute you start to feel the shoulders round, stop where you are. You want to keep that lovely long spine. You might find you can drop down even more, but it's not about how far you go. So if you can, the aim is to get the tummy to the floor. Maybe the forehead can pull all the way forwards with the chest, but I want you to imagine the skin on the back of the neck staying nice and long. So it's the crown of the head that pulls forward. The chin is tightly tucked. The top of the chest is still pulling forward. I'm not using that dreadful word D-O-W-N because we're pulling forwards and gluing our sit bones down. When you next exhale, I want you to walk both hands to the right side of your body, and you should feel a lovely stretch all the way down the left side. Keeping that neck long, keeping the eyes closed. We're going to breathe in, and we are going to walk the hands all the way to the left as we breathe out, feeling a lovely stretch down the right side of our body. And you're just going to stay there with the eyes closed, breathing nice and deeply. As you inhale again, walk the hands back to the center and in to your feet. Sit nice and tall, chin tucked, crown of the head stretching up. As we breathe in again, if possible, we're going to come to Vajrasana. Now that is sitting on your heels. Now some of you might not find this too comfortable, so you can choose the option, if you have a block or a cushion, to put it between your thighs. Also, some of you might find it a bit uncomfortable on the ankles, so you might want to roll a jumper up or a cushion and just balance it under the ankles, just to relieve any tension there. But if it really is too much for you, just sit cross-legged. We are going to close our eyes and we're going to breathe in gently through the nose. And we're going to allow ourselves a moment to notice the breath there. Notice the coolness as it flows in. And as you breathe out, notice the exchange. The breath is now warm, warmed by your body. Keep breathing in nice, natural, calming breaths. Going to breathe in again. And as we breathe out this time, we're going to turn our head all the way to the right. If possible, still keeping our eyes closed. As we breathe in, we turn our head back to the center. As we breathe out all the way to the left. Breathe into the center. Breathe out to the right. Breathe into the center. Breathe out to the left. Coming back to the center as we inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to take our right ear to our right shoulder. You're going to feel a lovely stretch down the side of the neck. Now, if you want to increase that stretch, you can take the hand over the temple and give yourself a little bit more of a stretch. Really is up to you. Everybody take this at their pace. Remember, yoga is not about how stretchy we are. It's about showing up every day on your mat, taking care of yourself, taking some time out of your day to just allow the body to stretch, to be. Okay, we're going to take the head all the way over the other side, and you'll see if it feels nice to have a lovely stretch. Okay, we're now going to roll our shoulders. We're going to roll them 3 ways one time and 3 ways back the other way. And then we're going to come to our nice tabletop position, hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. I'll turn to face you a bit so you can see as we come into our cows and exhale to our cats. So the idea is that the chest pushes through the upper arms and the tailbone pushes away in cow. And we round up, pulling our belly button up to our spine in our cats. Just a nice mindful movement. Again, you can close the eyes, working with your breath. And try to take that breath deep inside. And almost breathe out the back of your neck. Almost like a deep rumbling at the back of your neck. It's called an Ujjayi breath. It's a kind of constriction at the back of your neck. Almost like a Darth Vader sound when you breathe out. One last time. Keeping the mouth closed, making sure the breath doesn't pull up further than the collarbone. We are then going to sit back onto our heels as we're coming into our hare pose. Now, I haven't got this written down because I always find it hard to say. So this pose is called Shavasana. Now, the important thing in your hare pose is there's no weight on the top of your head. It shouldn't hurt your head. So we're going to start by taking our hands to our feet. Take a breath in, engage your core, lift your chest, but pull in those little ribs at the side. I have a tendency to flare mine as I open my chest. So you want to make sure you pull those back in. And we're going to lift, as it were, your fluffy bobtail up to the sky. And you come onto the crown of your head. But there's no weight on it. See, I can easily lift it up. If you want a little bit more here from your pose, intertwine the fingers and lift them overhead. Again, my head can lift up. The aim is to reach the knuckles overhead. You have a go. And just keep that lovely Ujjayi breath. Let that Ujjayi breath help you, that breathing into the back of the throat, that constriction there. It's a deep breath, it's warming your body. preparing you for the work. So use that breath to help you. Keep the eyes closed here. And then release from wherever you happen to be into your child's pose, Balasana. Now, if you need to make a bit more space for yourself, you can take the knees apart. The important thing is to get the bottom back to the heels rather than worry about the head to the floor. You can always make one potato, two potato to balance the head if it doesn't reach. Brilliant, everybody. Okay, so we're just going to talk a little bit about your core muscles. Now, often in yoga, you'll hear people talk about engaging your core, Uddiyana Bandha. So you have a few little areas inside your tummy that you want to engage when you're doing these classes. And it can be hard and take some time to distinguish between them, but it's a good idea to know where they are. So imagine placing your right hand on your tummy, first finger at your belly button, and the little finger is 4 finger widths down. I want you to stretch up with the left hand. And what I want you to do, or what I want you to feel first, is where that little finger is. It's called your Nabhi Bandha. And as you say, ha, you should feel that motion pull directly from front to back. So give it a go. Ha, 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 ha. Hopefully you felt that. Now concentrate on that first finger by the belly button. That's where your Uddiyana Bandha is, and that literally means to fly up, and it should pull in and up. So give that a go. Ha, ha, ha. So that's the 2 distinguishable areas, as well as the pelvis, pelvic floor here. So imagine your pelvis is like a little triangle down here, and you always want to be able to slightly pull the bottom of the pelvis forward. And when you want to activate the pelvic floor, imagine one of those grabber hands like you get in seaside resorts, going all the way down to your trampoline, your pelvic floor. It's like a little trampoline at the bottom. It grabs onto that trampoline, and as you breathe out, that grabber claw goes back out the way it came. And that, by just simply pulling that pelvic floor in, will help to engage both the Nabhi and the Uddiyana Bandhas. Help you engage your core, which helps throughout your whole practice. Okay, so we've done our Shavasana, and now we're coming into a nice down dog. So coming back to all fours, another forward bend here. Tuck your toes under. Now if you struggle lifting up too high, you can just pull the bottom back to the heels and rock back and forth. You can stay on your knees and take it to puppy pose, stretching the arms in front. But if not, everybody else, prepare for Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Tuck the toes under. As you exhale, start to push the hips up. Pad through your feet. It is a lovely forward bend. So just do your Ujjayi breath, that deep-throated breath. And don't worry whether the legs are straight, whether the heels are to the floor. The most important part is the lengthening of the spine. From here, we're going to walk our hands into our feet and just hang like a ragdoll. Bend the knees. Bring the hands onto the hips, and as you inhale, slowly, slowly unravel. And just give your body a little shake. As we stand up, we're going to stand with our feet hip distance apart, and I want you to take a breath in, intertwine your fingers. As you breathe out, stretch the palms up. Now if you want to stay on the floor, you can come back and do this on your knees. As you breathe out again, stretch all the way to your right, big stretch, but keep those hips square so that it's the body stretching, not swaying out. So you want to stretch the side of the body. Inhale up, exhale all the way over the other side. Brilliant. So we're going to come and do our forward bend against the wall now. So we're doing a down dog against the wall. And it's really good practice for getting that straight spine. So you want your feet hip distance apart. You want to bring yourself to a wall, hands on your hips, and you want to take the hands, the elbows as far behind you as possible to keep the shoulders nice and open, keep the chest open. Engage your tummy. Everybody bend your knees. And you're going to have to work out the distance. You might have to play around with it because you want to be able to stretch out your arms. So we're going to exhale, bend the knees, keep them bent. Fold halfway, taking the elbows up to the ceiling. Now notice I'm tucking my chin so the skin on the back of the neck stretches out. Hopefully I'm at the right distance from the wall to push my palms into it. Now keep your knees bent here. Inhale again. Engage your tummy muscles, your core. Now what I want you to do is as you exhale, push strongly into the wall with the palms of your hands and try to straighten your legs, but keep the tummy engaged. Keep the crown of the head moving towards the wall. You can look down to your toes. Your drishti is your big toes. You can use your ujjayi breath to help you. That breath with the mouth closed into the back of the throat. Now we're just going to stay here for a little bit and talk about pulling in the side ribs. As we push into the wall with our hands, we're also pulling away with our wrists. Imagine you have a giant spring between your upper thighs, and your upper thighs are pulling that spring in at the same time as you feel somebody trying to pull those heels apart, and that will help to spread the sit bones and activate the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. This is a very strong hamstring stretch. So if you need to bend your knees, you can. Keep the crown of the head moving forward. Keep the arms lengthening, that push, pull motion. Keep sucking in those little side ribs. And if in doubt, if you're struggling with the exhalation, try to imagine taking the breath out through the backs of the knees now. I know it sounds daft because it's literally not going there, but that's what you want to focus on, and just breathe in to your pose. It should feel really nice. Brilliant. Okay, everybody, breathe in, bend the knees, breathe out, hands to hips, and just let the body fall down and hang like a rag doll, and really sway those legs from side to side. Brilliant. Hands onto the hips. Inhale, up we come. Now, you may have felt that strongly in your shoulders, so we're just going to release any tension that we might have had in our shoulders. So you can do this standing, or you can do this on your knees again. If you prefer to do the whole thing on the floor, you can. So we're going to take our arms wide, and you need to really stretch your arms wide, really get that length. And inhale, right arm forward, palm facing down. Exhale, cross the left arm over the top, wrap them around, and you might only get this far. You might get the backs of the hands together, or you might be able to get the fronts, the hands together, the palms. Now, if I turn sideways, you can see I'm aiming. It's a really yin-yang moment because you're aiming to get the elbows up and the shoulders down. So it's good to think about it as you inhale, pulling up the elbows, as you exhale, pulling the shoulders down. And the forearms need to be at a 90-degree angle to my face, so don't fold them back in. And you should feel, as you're doing this, a lovely tension release across the back of the neck and the shoulder blades. So, keep engaging your tummies, don't forget those tummies. And we're going to release and roll it out, give it a shake. And we're going to take our arms wide. And this time, as we exhale, left arm in front, palm to the floor. Inhale, right arm over the top. As we exhale, we eagle bind. Now, don't be surprised if it's different on both sides. Doesn't matter. So you're once again working to stretch the back of the neck, the shoulders. So work into your pose as you breathe in. Think about the elbows. Lifting as you breathe out. Think about the shoulders releasing. Keep engaging the tummy. Keep sucking in those little ribs. Keep working on that pelvic floor. And then release. Roll through the shoulders. Okay, so we're just going to focus again by just taking a little tree pose, Shavasana. Quite often in the middle of a practice, if you find you need to bring that awareness back in, it's a good idea to take a balance. It focuses the mind. So we're just going to do a very simple tree. You can either do your tree with the foot over and balanced on the other foot, so both feet are on the ground, or you can push strongly into Mother Earth with your right foot. And we're going to lift our left leg first because that's the leg I happen to be doing. And we're going to take the foot either into the calf or into the thigh. We're going to push our palms together. Strong arms. And we're just going to breathe. I want you to feel the skin on the back of the neck stretch. The crown of the head is reaching up. And I want you to be looking down your nose. Drishti is the tip of the nose. You see the fingers just in your peripheral vision. Just refocus the mind. Maybe you could try closing your eyes. And then release. And we switch sides. So when you're ready, wherever you want to be, remember you may be different this side. Find your focus. Lengthen the skin on the back of the neck. Palms together. And Jali Mudra. Try closing your eyes again. And release. I don't know about you, but that always makes me feel a change in atmosphere. It's completely calming, completely relaxing. As we come into our major forward bend here, our Prasarita Padottanasana. So you want to step your feet wide apart. So if you were to pull your arms up at shoulder height, your ankles should be in line with your wrists. Now, bring your hands to your hips and turn your toes in ever so slightly so the outside edges of your feet are in parallel to the edges of your mat. Take a breath in. Tilt that pelvis forward, engage the core. So the pelvis is tilting forwards, the chest is open, we're opening our heart, but we're sucking in our little baby ribs. As we exhale, we fold halfway, keeping our knees bent. Remember that sensation of the spine. So it's the back of the pelvis. Imagine that back triangle pulling up the length of the spine. Pull the elbows up to the ceiling. Crown of the head stretches forwards. Use your Ujjayi breath. Now, take another breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to take our fingertips to the floor. I want you to keep pushing into the pads of those feet. Don't let the ankles roll out. Really important here. As you inhale, you can bend your knees more. Lengthen the chest forwards. Tuck the chin. It's not the neck or the head that lengthens. It's the crown of the head pulling forward, the back of the neck. And as you exhale, try to bring the hands flat to the floor. Now, you might find it helps you to take a block or a pile of books. We're still aiming to get that chest moving forwards. but we're going to try to work on straightening our legs. Use that Ujjayi breath, or you imagine breathing out the backs of the knees. The most important thing is that the back stays straight. So if you can fold with your head to the floor, absolutely fine if the back stays long. If not, and you need to be here to keep that straight spine, also good. As we pull up those legs, I want you to imagine a giant spring between the upper thighs again. And imagine you've got to stop that from bouncing out. And this is where, at the same time, you imagine you've got a big, beautiful Beyonce bum. We love Beyonce. And you want those you want the sides of the hips, so you're pushing out to either side over the feet, whilst the sit bones are pushing away behind you at the same time. And the spine is long. Everybody bend your knees, hands onto your hips. Exhale, unravel as slowly as we can. We're leaving our legs there. We're going back in. So we're going to take another breath in, and we're going to bend our knees again. We're going to brace our belly. And as we breathe out, we're folding halfway again. Now, from here, you're going to work out where you need to go, because you might be able to fold down further again, but what we're going to do is we're going to clasp our hands behind our backs like we did in our hare pose, making one fist with our knuckles intertwined. And what I want you to do is keep engaging that core, that Uddiyana Bandha, the Nabhi Bandha, and I want you to take those knuckles overhead. So you feel the stretch on the back of your legs, the hamstrings. You keep pulling that spring together in your upper thighs. Keep the arches active on the inside of your feet. And keep working into your pose. So you stay down, keep working into that pose. And I want you to really feel the back of the spine stretch and lengthen. So it's as if I've got one hand on your right hip and I'm pulling my hand up through your left shoulder, lengthening the spine, and then I'm stretching you the other way as well. Brilliant. Take the knuckles as far overhead as you can. The legs might not straighten here fully. It's not important. The important thing is the spine, the forward bend. And then we're just going to release the hands to the floor, bend the knees and just hang. Okay, from here, I want us to come all the way down onto our knees. I want us to roll through our shoulders once, twice, anything we need to do. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. Really important that the elbows hug through to the chest here, because we're going to strike through to a sphinx to counter pose. So exhale, take the chest to the floor. Slide it through, slide the legs away if you need to. And what you need to do is I'm going to come to face, I'll show you sideways on. So from sideways on, you can see my legs are parallel. This part of my legs all the way down is engaged. The muscles should be solid. You want to imagine somebody's grabbing your ankles from behind and pulling you away. So you've got a lovely long length there. Then from the front, my elbows are perfectly in line under my chest. If you're unsure, people often take the elbows too wide. Grab the elbows with the opposite hands, walk them under the chest, glue the elbows down, bring them in front. Now, the aim again is not to crush into the lower spine. So your drishti, your gaze, is still down. Once again, we can bring the focus inwards and close the eyes. And what I want you to do is the sternum just below the heart is pulling forward. The feet are pulling in the opposite direction. The leg muscles are engaged. Take it out of your lower spine. Relax the lower spine. Just pull the sternum forwards. Keep the shoulders open. Keep the chin tucked. Pull the legs away to have a lovely, long, healthy spine. Don't work into the lower spine here. Take a final breath in, and as you exhale, release, rest the head on the backs of the hands. So rest your forehead down. Take 3 deep breaths here, in through the nose, and audibly sigh out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we're going to roll over onto our spines. We're going to slide our hands between our legs and take hold of the inside of our feet. Now, if you can't reach, you can take a strap around the feet, or maybe you want to try 1 foot at a time. You're going to push the soles of the feet into the palms of the hands, and you want to aim the knees to the sides of the body, to the floor or into the armpits, and we're just going to rock from side to side, happy baby pose. And now grab the knees into your chest, and I want you to imagine there's a clock on your spine, and you've got to hit all the numbers as you go around clockwise. 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, and then back the other way. 12, 9, 6, 3, 12, 9, 6, 3. Give yourself a giant hug, kiss your knees, and then you can prepare for your Shavasana by stretching out, palms facing up and feet extended. So I'm going to leave you there for today and say, may there be peace, harmony, kindness and love. Om Shanti, Namaste. Please have a lovely day. Please make sure that you practice your Shavasana, your final relaxation afterwards. Take care, everybody.